day, everyone. You're welcome to today's design with me. We want to design a flyer, and the client's description is to have a church program titled Total Experience, and it's a Christ membership program. That is a church, and they want it to look beautiful. So where do I start from? I have to start with my concept. I'm going to show you what the design looks like when I finish designing and how I achieve this. Yeah, this is our design. This is what we were able to achieve at the end of the design. The designer gave the test description. The client gave the test description. We want the program to be titled Total Experience. The name of the church is Love World. The branch is Love World Edinburgh. This is the date, time, address. This is the contact details. That was sent as a message. I now have to bring beauty to it. Now there are several platforms people use to design now, but many of those platforms comes with templates, and that restricts what you can actually achieve. And that is why I'm using Photoshop because it has several options of what you can actually uh, go ahead to produce. So here we go. This is how our page looks like before we start. We first go ahead to create a new page. Then you pick your size. I usually love to go with inches. You can decide to use centimeters, millimeters. The most important thing is you have to know what the client wants, the size, the dimension you want the design to be. Sometimes they want it for several purposes. So you'll be careful not to do something too small for some other uses. For example, the design might be needed for a flyer and it might be needed for a banner. So if it's going to be a large banner, a large billboard banner, you have to consider that in the design. It's better it's bigger. But remember, when it's bigger, the constraint is the system you need to use has to be fast enough because it will take a longer time to process. So now we're going with inches. I'll decide what my width, what my height, and my resolution. If I want it to be on a large screen, I know how to increase the resolution. Then, if it's going to be on, I can choose the color mode. If it's going to be something that will be for display, I will choose an RGB color mode. If it's going to be for print, I'll choose the CMYK. RGB stands for red, green. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, black. K is black, right? So this one is going to be for the print. So I'll be safe to put it on CMYK, and it can still well go for RGB uses. Okay, that's by the way. So I'm going to click the title and then I'll create. Okay, I've already created it and I've given it the title. So here is it. So what is the first thing I look out for? I have to come over and get some items on the internet. For example, I need a picture of where previous meetings that customer has had, and I look for one that looks like what I want, and I got one. When I get it, I go to the file and I bring it downward here. When I bring it, it might not be in the size I want, so I'll use my Control T. I'll use my Control T to resize it. So I'll resize it. Now this is already resized. So this is the image. So I progress from that to put in test. What is the test? Total experience. I want that to come out big. I use the test tool to type this. Then I pick the color here. So I pick the color here and I change it to whatever color I want it. The test I use is Anton. This is not the system I used to design originally. So that is why this test is coming out like this. So if you don't have a particular font, you might need to download the font online. It's easy for you to actually achieve. So once I have this, but I want it to look, I want it to have some luster, I want it to shine, I want a golden feel. So when I want something to be golden, I'm going to use uh, an effect. I have different things I use to add effects. Bevel and emboss, stroke, inner shadow, inner glow, satin, color overlay, gradient overlay, pattern overlay, outer glow, top shadow. In this instance, I use gradient overlay, inner shadow, bevel and emboss. Now, when you use all these effects, you can save them as a style. And another lesson I'm going to show you how to achieve that. But in this case, I've actually added all these effects. So you can see I have my luster here. So total experience is now looking golden. It's having that effect. It's not just looking flat. These are some of the things you might not easily achieve on some softwares or some platforms that has uses templates. Then I want to invite, uh, I want to, I'm going to go to my test tool again. I want to put invite you to. So I come here, you can see this invite you to. Let me bring it a bit older. But I want to have that feel of excellence. That I don't want it to just look like invite you to. I want it to have an effect. This effect is something we'll be using in later when you're designing with Photoshop. Uh, so I'm going to come over and use my outer glow. I'm going to use my outer glow. So I come here and I use my outer glow. I've already added that. So you can see the difference. If I don't put my outer glow, this is what it's going to look like. So yes, I have a great outer glow. I can this outer glow I use the color is blue. I can use black. I can alter the level of intensity of that glow. So let me zoom out. So I progress. Now I come to my rectangle tool, my shape tool. I pick it here and I use it to create a rectangle. I want to add details, information of addresses, no, phone number and email address. So that is what I change it to another color. And I'm using a pinkish white. Uh, so that is it here. Let me minimize this. So I've achieved that. Then I start to use my text tool again to type the date, the time. I'm using Times New Roman here. The time. Like I said, if you pick a text, I will just switch into. Then I want to type. I'm going to type the email address and the phone number here. So using my text tool again. You can see I used a different color. I used the color is a bit brown. So select the color that will blend well with what you're doing. Then I also put the address also in black. I'm going to put a rectangle here and I'll do that later on. So I also want something under this total experience as specified by my client. What is this total experience? What should be the expectation? I'm going to type that here, then be able to do the color that can blend with what we're doing here. Then I want a logo like you here. So I'm going to use my oval tool. Under this place, I can pick my ellipse tool so that I to generate my oval shape and use that to generate this. However, at the point of generating this black, I can still use my text tool to generate a color overlay, and the color is going to be blue, which I will just. Then I went online to get an element, a golden element. I went to freepik.com. I always go there to get some elements that you need to do the design. There's another fact that there's some free items you can get there. So I'm going to get an element there, and I think it looks like what I want. So I'm going to select something like. So I've added this. I had to tweak this my oval shape to fit into this element I got on freepik.com. Like I said, the other platforms. So that is what I use for this. So I have to acknowledge. So then I want to type the name of the church here. That is not what Edinburgh. If you are a member of the church Lord Edinburgh or you stay in Edinburgh, I want you to type. I want you to indicate in the comment section. I'd like you to say hi to me. So I have that logo. Now the logo Edinburgh is here. If you notice, I created an effect. I'm going to zoom out. I'll remove the effect now. When I zoom in, I will let you see what that effect did. Okay, so you can see it here now. I added a outer glow. Can you see it? Can you see black? The black shadow. Can you see it? I'm going to remove and have so you can see that I'm moving in black. So that is so I can zoom out again. So you can see we're getting closer now. So now this logo, I got this logo from when I just like log on logo. When I type it, it didn't come exactly like this. So but there is a tool in case it has some images behind. in another class, we're going to learn how to remove the background. So I have to remove the background so that look, it can blend easily with this design. But then I added an effect outside the without the effect. Look at it, it depicts just like this. But I wanted it to just, I wanted to add a touch to it. It's a choice of what you want. But I wanted it blue, so I used this effect over this outer door. Then I proceeded. This I painted it a little bit. I used the brush tool to paint it a little bit. You know, in another class we learn how to paint. So that was it. Then before there was something with it, there was a background that I used earlier on. And the reason why I put it there, so I'll, I'll show you how to paint. This is also a rectangle. You can just type for more information. Then there's a rectangle, we put a gradient. That is, instead of making it a single color, we use a stream gradient. I'll show you how to put a gradient some other time. You can see it's not looking literally ready. Then the finishing touch to it was this rectangle that I placed here. Now you may not see the effect of this triangle rectangle, but this is actually what I did. I placed a rectangle. I came to my shape side here. I placed a rectangle, and this was how the rectangle actually looked, and I made it to be color blue. I picked a color from there. This is actually what I did. I created a rectangle like this, stretched it down to have this rectangle shape. But then I reduced the opacity. You can reduce the opacity either here or here. I reduced it to 5%. 5%. So it will be like a glass of blue to make the entire design to have some blend. So you can see a lot went into producing this. That is industrial standard.